And we are continuing to maintain our social distance. We would like to welcome you back to our Facebook Live episode here at the Manitoba Advocate for young people. Our topic today, or our right today, will be Article 21. You have the right to care and protection if you are in foster care or if you were adopted. So again, thank you for joining us this Friday, August 7th. Really excited today because we have a special guest with us. So here with us today is Michael James from Boxlight Cree Nation. Michael is one of our youth ambassadors, and we have the privilege of spending time with him and learning from him and having him teach us a ton of the stuff that we weren't taught as kids. So into adulthood, here he is. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it off to Cheryl to do our introduction, and then we are going to throw Michael into the fire and have him host our episode today. So we're really excited for that. Thank
Not
you.
literally. We're not throwing anyone into a fire. Just want to be clear.
I was sweating yesterday.
Can you all
be
be Krishna Kaz? Name Anamawagan. Selkirk Donji. I say miigwech for today. I can't believe it's episode 20. Where's the time gone? Welcome, Michael, and we're so glad to have you here. As the knowledge keeper, I'm going to open with the land acknowledgement. Here at the Manitoba Advocate for Children and Youth, we wish to acknowledge that we are located on the original lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and the beautiful homeland of the MACY Nation. So today, my teaching, I'm going to just reiterate my mask. I'm busy. I'm on a tangent making fabric masks again because I believe that I made a bunch at the beginning of COVID for the office here.
I would like to know, actually, and I think our viewers might want to know, how many masks in total do you think you have made since March?
Probably about, I would say at least a couple hundred.
A few hundred easily.
Yeah, like I just cut 20 out as we were prepping for the program today. So it's so important, but we'll later on in the show, I'll talk a little bit about the masks and the importance.
And I just want to introduce myself, John. Michael, thank you for joining us. I've been hounding Michael to join us for a couple weeks now, so I'm very happy. I might have taken him for lunch just as a little bit of a bribe and got the meat sweats going like we were talking about. So
keep me around.
Keep you around. Well, if you're tired, you're not going to run away from us, right? So I just want to mention that if you have any questions or comments, just please feel free to leave them in the comment section. As well, if you leave your name and contact information, we'll definitely be able to maybe get one lucky person some MACY swag that we got. The God's Rights t-shirts, a wavy baby, little pen that this is successfully still mine and Kathy has not stolen from me yet.
You'll notice I wear mine on my lanyard. Very few people get within arm's reach of me.
And then I guess I just will mention we will talk about the listening to our survey, which I believe we're in our last week for that. And yeah, we're going to just have some fun, talk to Michael a bit about what's going on with maybe YAAS and get a fresh youth perspective from all these adults that have been on these episodes here. So Cheryl, I'll pass it back to you.
Okay, so today I stopped and I got some fabric, and I like to make my little masks. And the importance, there's many schools of thought, but right now the numbers are going up, and I think it's just a wake-up call and a reminder with the seriousness of everything that's going on right now. Our numbers are creeping up here in Winnipeg and Manitoba, province-wide. So just a reminder to social distance, wear your mask. You know, wearing a mask is not meaning that you're in one belief or the other, that you have it or you're scared to get it. Just wear the mask. I would say it would be something to help yourself stay safe, and think of all the people that you come in contact on a daily basis, and your family. What reasons do you have to protect yourself? And you're not just protecting yourself, you're protecting your family and all your loved ones.
What other chance do you get to wear a cool looking mask?
I know. I picked out.
Stopping you. Come on.
I know. I was thinking the same thing. I went to the fabric store and I got a bunch of different Aboriginal print fabrics. It's not that when I first started making them, it was just like one color. Now I see people beating and
I got
elaborate.
lucky,
saw
though.
contests with them on.
You had a fabric with the Seven Sacred Teachings,
Yeah.
the animals on it, so I was lucky. I got one of those,
Yeah.
and I've been holding it close. 'Cause
Yeah,
I know
that
people.
was just
I know
my
people want that
scraps.
one.
Now I'm going to be a little more creative with the masks and do some designs. Oh, sorry. Wasn't me.
Look how excited she is about masks.
Winging all over the fabric and my big scissors. So, yeah, it's easy to get started, and once you understand the basic concepts of sewing, and just like I say about all the creative stuff that I do, it just takes a little bit of innovative patience and time to sit down and to be able to have the means. I see all these YouTube videos, people sewing with thread and needle. I'm like, I got a machine here on my desk, my other office a machine. I'm so lucky, to be able to help people understand that a lot of our regalia that we make for ceremony, and people are starting to wear it every day, because I totally believe that every day we are in a ceremony. The beginning of the day, I start the day with Miigwech Creator, thank you for blessing me with another day. And then at the end of the day, no matter what I've gone through, I have a chance to kind of give him thanks again, saying thank you for helping me get through just for today. So that's how I work it. And I see a lot of color, and that's what Spirit sees, is our color through the ribbons and the shirts and the skirts and the masks. So we're going out with the masks, and hopefully we'll start helping to keep being reminded of how important it is to do all the safety, social distancing, washing your hands, everywhere we go, because there's a lot more movement. But the numbers are also starting to creep up. So,
and I think you and I talked, like, we're going to be approaching flu season
that's
in September, right?
So that's right. Like,
this,
how do we know what it is or what it isn't? I would err on the side of caution and still keep these practices going, wiping things down. And when I'm in the short time that I'm like the speed shopper. I didn't like shopping before, but now I'm even quicker, more efficient. Even more quicker. Okay, I have to take this, sorry.
So we are probably not going to see Cheryl come back during this episode.
For good reason.
For a good reason. She is waiting for the birth of a baby, which, again, our babies are gifts. And so with that, I'm hoping that she is off to help deliver a baby and bring another beautiful spirit into this world.
Very exciting.
Yeah, while we were talking about masks, though, I'm really curious, Michael. So with COVID and with kind of all of the uncertainty of things, is there a youth perspective on kind of the numbers creeping up? Like, what are your thoughts? I know, March and April were really kind of intense, right? I feel like we've kind of become complacent, or I have. So I just wanted to know if you had any thoughts on kind of how it's impacting you, and whether or not you're feeling like this fall is scary and unknown, or...
Well, I know a lot of young kids are kind of freaked out. They don't really understand it. They're like, oh, no, this is bad, this is bad. And a lot of people my age or a bit younger are definitely freaked out about it, but then there's, that batch, that group that just, they don't care. They're like, whatever, a little irresponsible. But for me, I think it's kind of both. I'm kind of worried, I take precautions, and then the next day I'm just like casually walking down the street, just not distancing, not wearing a mask.
That sounds kind of healthy, though, like, just from my own perspective of you're not getting too caught up or too anxious about it, and letting yourself to the point, where you feel like you need to be stuck at home even, right? Like you're, so there probably is a good balance that you're having.
Good balance, but in the long run, that's the most negative thing we could do is, relax a bit, especially in the pandemic. Like, one wrong move and this whole city could be infected.
With that said, Manitoba has still managed to kind of be within the lowest, but our numbers are creeping up. I haven't had any direct experience with testing or, having anyone in my close family sick until just on Monday. So on Monday I had a bit of a scare. So my own baby girl, well, she's 20, was really, really ill and couldn't breathe. So we managed to get her to the hospital. And it's really unfortunate that I have to say, thank goodness it was only pneumonia. So she did get her COVID test. She said it was extremely quick, super fast. She did say it was uncomfortable. As for pain, I've been kind of reading, and a lot of the social media and the posts out there are really saying that, you know, it's this huge Q-tip that goes into your nose and it's really painful. And so I don't want that to deter anyone from not getting tested because of the fear. So I will tell you, not first-hand knowledge, so I have not had the Q-tip up my nose, so this is again, but from the experience of my daughter, she said it was uncomfortable, but it was very quick, and she said it was painless, although very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on COVID testing? That was another kind of debate we had, because I know that there's drive-through testing, and there are people with asymptomatic. So what are your thoughts for young people? Would you, with respect to the COVID testing, do you think that you know, at the sign of a sniffle, you would go and get tested just to?
I would definitely go and get tested for sure. I don't know about other people. It's all up to the parents too. Like the moment a younger person that's under someone's care gets, I don't know, cough, fever, etc. It's up to the parents, and the parents, they either got a good mindset about it, oh, we gotta get you tested right now, let's go, or they're like, back in my day, you know, we never really, it was just a cold, it was just another cold, you know. So it's kind of, it's diverse.
Yeah.
But not in a good way for a pandemic, because yin and yang, you know, either that good's gonna happen and it's just all gonna blow over, or lots of people are gonna get infected out of nowhere.
So I think that it's amazing how many times we talk and we have these discussions and we have these segues, because now you've kind of given us our into the article / right that we're covering today. So we're talking about the UNCRC, United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, the 42 rights. No one right is more important than the other. We know this, and all 42 rights are not an option. These rights are mandatory. Canada has signed on to this, and it has been ratified. So these are not options when you're living here in Canada and in Manitoba. So for these 42 rights that we have, we've picked this one today, and I'll let Kathy talk a bit about that.
So my hope is that that Michael here has some really interesting youth perspectives. Article 21, or right number 21, states that you have the right to care and protection if you are in foster care or adopted. So as we know, in Manitoba, we have a large number of children in care who are either in foster care or group care. And so when we look at that particular right, the right to care and protection, what does that mean, and what does that look like? And I think I'm going to start off with putting Michael on the spot a little bit, with asking him, what do you think the right to care and protection is? What is care and protection? What do you think that is referring to? Because it's a really broad, you know, care is basic necessities, protection is protection from harm. So when you're talking or looking at that right, is there anything in particular that speaks to you?
What speaks to me is, you know, I was in foster care and close to being adopted. I never had this right. No, there was other rates, but I'm not too sure what that looks like or feels like, because you know that there's always workers that they don't believe crap from the child. They don't believe anything that the child says, and they take any precautions to protect the child. It's always, well, in my cases, it's always about money, always about funding, always about trying to skim the funding and try to get the most funding saved out of the child, and not save the child. You know, so it's really hard to tell what that looks like nowadays, because you know I passed this. I never got to go through this.
And I think, not to cut you off, but I think so someone like you that has been through it and seen this, and you know, maybe didn't know about the right, for example, or whatever, does that give you a little incentive to what you're doing now, like the work you were doing with YAAS and things? Like, do you use that to fuel some of the stuff to, move forward? And even though you can't change your past and things like that, do you see yourself as that positive influence on changing what was seen as maybe wrong and what should be right for youth that are experiencing it right now?
Definitely feel, more comfortable that it's a thing, right? That
Mhm.
the rights are available, and gives me hope for new generations that are in foster care or adopted, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I really just want to, give a shout out to Michael and to his peers that are part of the Youth Ambassador and Advisory Squad. We have sitting members, we have support members, and the code of conduct that was developed was youth created and developed, and that is we don't call it a policy. We're a group of individuals that come together, but I think when I look at, or when I'm able to spend time with Michael and the rest of our young people, the thing that really strikes me is their ability to see beyond their lived experiences. And again, maybe Michael will want to talk a little bit about that, but being in foster care for the majority of your childhood into adulthood, what rights did you know about? And so even focusing on this to care and protection, what is care? So care would be basic necessities. You have water, you have food, you have air, but when I look at the right to care, it means care by a responsible adult or service provider that is not just meeting your basic needs. Caring means making sure that we're facilitating love and respect and honesty into those relationships. And for a lot of our youth ambassadors, and I don't want to put words in their mouth, but I think it's part of the beauty of what we do when we come together is we've created our own family. And I think that's really, when you're in care, you shouldn't have to create a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are coming into this home to be loved and to be cared for, to be respected, not just to be provided with the basic necessities. The idea that we have to put on paper that you have the right to protection, that really hurts in a lot of ways, because it's that, again, is something that the expectation is that our kids here are gifts. I think I drive Michael crazy because he's a young man. He's a young man, but I refer to most of our YAAS team as our kids, right? Our gifts. So I'm going to apologize on air for always saying my kids. So this is one of our young men. But yeah, so when you look at your growing up or your experience, not even just specific to this right, did you know about the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Children? Did you know that there was a legal responsibility to make sure that you knew all of them?
I had no clue. Like zero clue, I go from the city, go from Winnipeg CFS, transferred to Owasso CFS, given status at a certain age. My rights just changed completely, and then I was sent up north and to go be with family, but never ended up with family. I ended up with a foster home, right? And I had no clue about any of these rights. I was just being shipped around. That's it's a common thing. It's always Indigenous kids being the majority, just shipped around left and right. And
And that's humble. That's humble for you to say, but it's scary at the same time because, like, we did our listening tour, and unfortunately COVID did stop it, but we were successful in 3 months of the listening tour. We've seen over 2,000 kids, and I can tell you that I don't have the exact stats, but at least 90%, I would guess, had never even heard of the UNCRC. And then maybe that final 10% could maybe name one or two rights, right? So it's like, it's scary because you're not alone in that, and I think that's what drives a lot of the work that this office wants to do and that the youth ambassadors need to do and want to do is letting these youth who are out there right now recognize you can't change your own past, but you can definitely change someone else's future, right? And I think that's what really I think needs to be done, is letting people know about these rights. I want to get back to this, but I do want to show a quick video here. One of our youth ambassadors, Trevor, as well. He's performed a couple times now. This is our second performance from Triple CYA conference last year. It was the first time he ever performed. He did 2 songs that day. So we want to just show you and showcase the talent of our youth ambassadors like Michael and Trevor and all the other youth ambassadors we have. You know, and so we'll see what this, hopefully you guys enjoy it, because we definitely do.
Everything's a mess. The years are thrown to your head. I'm in and out now, lying in your bed. I lose the life, never that you leave. Are you working every day? Are you working to bleed? I know how. I'm slowly losing my mind. What is there for me to do? I can't explain this. It's got my days in the booth. I can't turn it up more. So prepared for what's coming soon. It's just a warning. I was born for performing. I will always speak the truth when it comes to recording, because you never see my life when I was young and I was growing. So close to breaking down, and I don't know if I can hold it. Soon as I get the feeling, everyone can see it showing. It's almost like that they can all see me glowing. Can hear the pain in my songs when you hear me flowing. I put my life on every line. It's like bungee jumping. I've been through so much pain. Please take me away. And to my haters, please understand we all been through pain, suffer, and pray to be taken away. But that gives you no right to say whatever you want to say. And everything's a mess. You could look alive, but you are not arresting. The tears are flowing through your head. A million miles an hour, but lying in your bed. The lose the life, you never got to leave. Are you working every day? Are you working just to breathe? I know. Hey. I know how it's like not having any friends. I know how it feels wanting to put it to an end. But just remember, you have your family and your friends, and they will be very devastated if you were dead. I couldn't even be here sitting in this bed. I should be telling you to stay in school and love your family, because one day you could be taken away from them, like I was when I was only just a kid. Yeah, am I pushing this too far? Do I really deserve to be part of that assault? Are we really going up to become famous stars? Because I'm feeling lost and nobody knows who we are. I can't believe the person who I became to be, reaching out to people who've all been through the same as me. And what a rush when people start looking up to me. I'm just an ordinary dude who wants to be free. Everything's a mess. You could look alive, but you are not arresting. All the demons are flowing through your head. A million miles an hour, but lying in your bed and lose your life. You never got your leave, working every day. I know. Hey, 2019, Triple YAAS, yeah. Thank you, everyone. Special thanks to MACY and the YAAS team. Just blessed to be here to do what I love doing, and hope everyone has a beautiful day.
Well, thank you.
So we are back, and I don't know, Trevor's pretty phenomenal when it comes to performing and the rapping, and so we send him well wishes. He's recovering right now, getting himself healthy again, and we're hoping that we get to see him very soon.
So yes, thank you, Trevor. John and I used to refer to him as our Thompson Trevor, but we can't anymore because he has, yes, moved areas. But we did have we had the pleasure of seeing him on Monday. So Trevor, if you were watching, we are wishing you well. It was fantastic to see you, and we can't wait until you're all healed up and ready to come out and hang out with us. Michael needs some more males to hang out with around the table. Him and John are like,
we're outnumbered a bit.
Yeah, they're much outnumbered.
And he's Winnipeg Trevor now.
Yeah, he's Winnipeg Trevor now. So thanks, Trevor, and please get well. So perfect opportunity to kind of pass it over to Michael. I wanted to talk a little bit about the Youth Ambassador Advisory Squad and the work that we do. Just to give you a little bit of background, and you've probably heard it every week. So we have been working with this for just about 2 years now, and we are up to 10 members, with a whole other, an additional 20 some who are
Support.
just support people or young people that we have, again, had the pleasure of just asking to work with us. So I'm going to ask Michael, I'm going to put him on the spot and say, what is it, talk a little bit about YAAS. Tell us what your perspective is on the work we do. Anything. What are
Well,
your favorite parts?
I don't want to put him on the spot, but I decided to share a photo this week when I knew he was going to be on. So maybe
Can I see a photo? I don't think I've seen.
we
Oh,
have a photo of Michael helping us at medicine picking, but it looks like he wasn't doing a whole lot
Very
of medicine
helpful.
picking. So this was a YAAS event. So as Michael's talking about YAAS and what it means to him and things like that, I just wanted to show that Michael does relax once in a while in the sun.
Michael was exhausted from watching me climb a tree. I'm sure that was it.
Sorry, I had to put you on the spot there.
Yeah. Perspective of yes.
So what are some of the things you've done with our peer group that you've enjoyed? Or that you maybe think have added value to your yourself, your spirit, or even to a group, right? We've done a lot of group work,
I
and
think when we hosted this place,
when we
what was
hosted
that called again?
the National Child Day.
Yeah, the
Child
open
Day.
house.
We
Yeah.
hosted here, and it was pretty good. I think we did a better job than you guys.
You did a much better job, and you know what? We're going to give you that. So,
And I wish I had the picture of you on the guitar. I would show that, but I
Yeah.
don't. So
yeah. So what Michael was referring to is every year we acknowledge November 20th as National Day of the Child, and this year we posed a challenge to our youth team our YAAS team to develop and decide what it is they wanted to do to honor it. So
I'll do it every year.
every year we had a
okay, we will hold you to it.
fantastic showing. We hosted an open house. Michael and his team really drove the entire day.
Yeah.
They had activities planned. They hosted adult service providers, different domains. They also hosted young people from different schools and
Yeah.
different programs. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was quite amazing. So again, I'm not sure what that's going to look like this year, Michael. November 20th, we are hoping that we're able to do something to still acknowledge. But you know, you guys figured it out last year, so the challenge to you is figure it out this year.
What
And you
can we
better
do
have a
this
COVID
year?
plan in
Yeah.
place. One of the other things I think is key in mentioning is, actually, and I wanted to ask you, so part of the work of our youth ambassador team is really to do consults. So Michael has sat with our researchers, our investigators. We've talked about domestic violence, sexual abuse, really, really hard topics, children's lives that have lived in care. And one of the things we try and be really mindful of is to understand that lived experience is key, but we have to really support kind of meaningful change coming from the discussions we're having with you.
Yeah.
So, and I'll ask you right on here, some of those conversations are difficult.
Yeah, some of them are difficult, and some adults we encounter are difficult too, because sometimes they got that adult mindset that doesn't let the youth fully speak. You guys let us speak. You guys are no problem, but there are some adults that we've encountered that they kind of oppressive perspective speak in tone to them, and it doesn't help with getting perspective out, because then you're just going to make it all the youth in the group start to turtle down, and you're not going to get anything out of us because we're being pushed away. Well, not by you guys, but there's some adults that we've encountered that definitely made some members turtle up and not say a word.
And that's unfortunate. I don't. I would never want a youth to come to the Manitoba Advocate or come to our YAAS meetings and feel stifled or that they have to hold anything back, because I think at the end of the day, if we want to make change for youth, I can't do it, and Kathy can't do it, because we were youth, but we're not anymore, right? So we can't really speak for the youth of today, and I think that's where I think for me, I have to humbly sit back and just be willing to listen and
And I think
hear.
that that even Michael having that, just being able to put it out there, one of the things that we really live by is honesty and truth. So the ability for Michael to be able to honestly tell us, we do a lot of consulting with community organizations and other groups that ask us. They want the word of our young people, and so we try to be really mindful. If you're inviting our youth or you're asking them to speak on issues or concerns, you have to listen. It's one thing to invite them to share their perspective. It's another to hear it, but not to listen to it. So I think, that's a perfect example of why we should listen to our young people. When Michael talks about turtling down, we're having really hard discussions on really hard topics, and we are asking a lot of you guys. We're asking, that you share oftentimes experiences of your own, and how could we make sure that doesn't happen to the next generation. So these guys are really mobilizing or driving change.
A lot of it's not opinion or anything. A lot of it's perspective and confession, so it's got to be important. And if you dismiss or disregard, the youth's not going to want to talk. They're going to be like, oh, that was terrible. Like, why did I say that? Some things come out. Respect when it comes out. Take it, listen. If you don't respect it, that person's not going to want that to come out again because you broke the trust. Right?
So, another segue. Sorry, I don't how this works, but 1-800-263-7146 right there. What Michael's talking about, if you're a youth that's watching this and you have something to share, or you feel like you're not being heard, that's what the Manitoba Advocate's here for, right? So I always say, if you're not sure if you should call, then call. And one of our advocates will listen to you, and you will be heard. But at the same time, our job is also to help you find your voice and amplify it.
Is there support for complaints?
There is.
There is.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Is that the same number?
Same number.
Is there some involvement of the same person answering the phone if they need to make a complaint? If you don't want a person of interest if somebody comes back wanting to complain.
No, and so one of the things I will say is, again, and that speaks to connection, right? Dynamics between people. So I think what Michael's getting at is oftentimes you may have an adult who is willing and able to help you, but you may not have that connection or be comfortable enough to share. So again, even when you're reaching out for support to any service, our office or any other service, if you are not happy or you're not feeling a connection to the person that is there to support you, don't be afraid or ashamed to say, this just isn't working, right? And again, use your voice. Our office, our goal is to amplify your voice. Our hope is that through our youth ambassador team, with the fantastic young people like Michael, we're able to eventually offer that peer support. I would love to live in a world where the Michaels of our world take my job, or that we don't need it, right? To be able to mobilize change, because their ideas, thoughts, and processes really are in line with, today, right? Some of our practices are so old, right? So we should be listening to them. So Michael, again on air, I just want to say thank you, because your words are so important, as are every other young person. And I really try to listen, but I will tell you that these guys are amazing. If I'm not listening, they'll call me out and they'll tell me, and it's honest and it's true, and it doesn't insult me. I have a little bit of guilt, but it makes me smile and it makes me laugh, because I want to learn from you, right?
So we've kind of run out of time. This went really, really fast. So hopefully Michael's going to join us again. I really, really hope so, because I think he's one of our most brilliant, many brilliant, but one of our most brilliant youth that we get to work with, luckily, day in and day out. And I know he has a lot to share and say. So,
as a matter of fact, he'll be back next Friday, won't you?
Maybe.
The pressure is on.
Maybe.
So thank you, Michael, for joining us, though. I just want to thank everybody for watching as well. And hopefully you guys join us again.
I would just like to simply say, Article 21, you have the right to care and protection if you are in foster care or adopted. If you are not having this right met, please call. Call our office, talk to a friend, talk to an adult. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Michael, for joining us, and you get to close us out today.
And if you miss me so much, you can find me at youtube.com/realhumansoul. Also facebook.com/realhumansoul. If you really miss seeing, you want to see me again, you can find me there.
Go find
That's
them.
perfect.
It's worth looking
Find
at.
them. Definitely.
Maybe John will put up the link.
I will have to share that for everybody.
There
Yes.
you go.